We're at the Warner Brothers studio tour in London, the making of Harry Potter. We brought our young kids and we're gonna show you the things you have to see. There's a moment when the doors open and you step inside the Great Hall for the very first time. And no matter how many movies you've seen, no matter how many theme park versions you've experienced, we've hit 2, this one just hits differently. Today we're heading from London to Watford to experience the Warner Brothers studio tour. The actual sets, props, costumes, and filming location from Harry Potter. We're doing it with our 6-year-old and our 3-year-old, our Hogwarts robes on, and the glasses slightly crooked, and more excitement than I knew what to do with. But here's the real question. Is this experience actually worth it? Whether you're solo, going with other adults, or considering bringing little kids? Or is it better saved for when they're older? By the end of this video, I'll tell you exactly how it went, what they've loved, what was hard, what to prioritize, and what I might skip. Let's head to platform 9 3/4, the real one. We started with breakfast at our hotel, which was included thanks to our Diamond Elite status. This is a big deal for me, especially as a mom who, if you are a parent, you know that fueling up your kids and making sure they have food available to them pretty soon after they wake up really makes or breaks your morning. Especially if you have a long day of adventuring before you, having food is essential. Then we made our way to Euston Station using public transportation, including our very first double-decker bus ride. Now, if you have little kids, make sure you sit upstairs on the front row. Trust me, the bus ride alone felt like an attraction and the girls were beyond excited. They've been looking forward to doing this for a very long time. It was one of their top things they wanted to do in London. Seeing London from the top in the front of a double-decker bus made the city feel magical before we even reached the train. It wasn't even that far of a ride. We definitely will be doing this again in the following days. We'll be doing a full video on navigating public transportation in London, as well as the other cities that we'll be traveling to, especially with kids, because honestly, it's so much easier than people think. And if that's something you would like to see, let me know down in the comments and I'll try to prioritize that in our list of videos. Now from Euston, we took the train to Watford's Junction and it was about a 20-minute ride. And then we continued on to the studio tour. They have a bus that picks you up from the train station. It's Harry Potter themed and everything and takes you directly to the studio. We booked one of the earliest entry times of the day, which I would highly recommend. You need to book this early because it does sell out. Early entry means fewer crowds, cleaner photos, less overstimulation for the kids, and more energy for all of you. Now, we were there for about 5 to 6 hours, and we honestly could have stayed longer, especially if we were just going as a couple, but some people can get it done in 3, and that just depends on how much you want to experience. It's really cool. I'm going to go through some of our favorite things that we did here, our kids' favorites, and how those differed greatly, and what we did to make the most of our time here, some of our top hacks, things like that, and of course things that are really important to know if you're bringing kids. But first, let's jump into how the studio is laid out so you're prepared. While you wait for your time to entry, I would recommend getting there early so that you can enjoy the lobby, which has the huge dragon from the 7th movie, and it's epic. And then they have a cafe, and you can even go into the dining spaces, and there are breakfasts that you can add on, and it looked so cool. It looks like you're dining in the Great Hall. You'll definitely see us visiting this area later on in the day after we did the majority of the tour, so stay tuned for that. We did get the butterbeer latte, and it was pretty good. We enjoyed touring the store when there were very few crowds. This was before our timed arrival, which was an early arrival time. So no one had actually made it all the way through this tour yet. There were several people that would be arriving later in the day that were not there, and we got to enjoy it basically to ourselves, and it was so much more relaxing. We got to look at everything. The kids didn't feel like they were going to get lost every 5 seconds. They got to look at every stuffy, and of course we took a picture with what felt like all of them. Stay tuned to see what we actually got from the shop later on in the day. Now, one of the coolest things about this entire experience was going into the actual Great Hall. When the doors opened to reveal the Great Hall, I got so emotional. The long tables, the house banners, stone floors, the staff table up at the front. Even though the actual Great Hall scenes were filmed on a set, this is the real set, the one the actors actually used, which was so fun. The girls stood still for a second, which if you have a 3-year-old, you know is saying something, and they were totally immersed. One really important thing to note about the Great Hall is that it is a timed experience. So you have a time to go in and a time that you are required to leave before the next group comes in. So you want to make the most of that time in there like we did. I would recommend trying to be towards the front. You get to experience it first and you get to get that full effect. Just like in the movie, maybe you even get picked or your kid gets picked to open the door. It would be epic. Then I would linger back towards the back of the Great Hall right as you enter. Everyone's going to go up towards the front. They do talk a little bit about some of the set pieces and things that are there, but you can still hear it. And then while everyone's up front, you can get some pictures mostly to yourself, if not totally to yourself. Next, we got to one of our favorite parts. We'll get into what the kids enjoyed the most in a second, but we really enjoyed the different sound stages and different sets. We saw the Gryffindor Common Room, Dumbledore's office. We got to the Forbidden Forest. We saw the Potions class and several other costumes and set pieces that are integral parts of the movies. We even saw the Mirror of Erised, which was really cool. I know what my favorite one was, but I would love to hear what your favorite set or your must-visit soundstage would have been. Or if you've already been, tell us your favorite fact that you learned on your adventure. Now, while we really enjoyed these indoor sets, we also really like the immersive experience that you get when you go to Privet Drive or when you go into the greenhouse itself. It felt very immersive, just kind of like you were at one of the theme parks. Again, like we live next door to Universal. That area totally reminded me of that experience, which just shows how well they did theme parks, since these were the actual sets and the theme parks are truly just out of this world. So good. Now, another thing I really liked was that they had educators or team members there that were telling guests about the filming, telling them about the set pieces, and there were different interactive ways that we could learn all throughout the experience, which was really fun, at least for us grown-ups. It was fun pretending there was a boggart actually in the wardrobe, so that was fun. What would the boggart turn into if it opened and you were there? Now let's talk about ages 6 and 3. Our 6-year-old, totally obsessed, and especially with the interactive elements. Anything that she could control, from the green screen broom rides that we'll see later, to pushing buttons, listening to headsets, she was fully engaged. Our 3-year-old loved our creatures like Bucky, and she loved Dobby, a lot of the other animatronics, anything that moved or that she got to touch. She loved the Forbidden Forest section, even though it could get a little dark, so she kind of stuck close by. Now, the hardest part was that there were definitely some sections where my husband and I would have happily stood and listened to every second of the audio guide, or we would have read every little word on every sign. But the girls were really excited and they wanted to move on to the next thing quicker than we would have liked. And then the next thing, and the next thing. And that's just part of traveling with kids. If you want to linger in certain sections, decide which ones ahead of time matter the most to you. For me, we loved the Great Hall. We loved the actual filming sets. The Hogwarts Castle model at the end was really cool. I loved the greenhouse and Privet Drive. I loved getting to see the Forbidden Forest as well, and the dormitories. So I did make sure to slow down in those places. A couple other interactive things that we loved and our kids did as well, they had some great photo ops, was the greenhouse. They got to pull up a mandrake and that was so fun. They really enjoyed that, and so did I, of course. Now, the Dursley house was one of my personal favorites, like I said, because it's so iconic and they had some scenes kind of depicted there. So the letters are coming out of the fireplace, which is so fun. The girls love seeing the Ministry of Magic, even though they didn't fully understand that bit yet because we haven't watched that far in the series. Now, walking through Diagon Alley is surreal. It's crooked and detailed, it's layered, and it's so cool and bright and colorful. Again, I have seen expressions of this in the Universal theme parks, and it is so fun to be in those locations as well. Let me know if you want details on the best tips and tricks for going to Universal and experiencing Hogwarts there. Whether you're going to Hogsmeade or Diagon Alley or both, definitely go to both. Or the Ministry of Magic, which is new and so fun. I'll give you all my best tips and tricks. But let's get back to the studio tour. We also got to see Gringotts, which was stunning. The vault details were really cool. The chandeliers, again, totally reminded me of Diagon Alley at Universal Studios. And there was a interactive, really cool photo opportunity where you could go into one of the Gringotts vaults and take pictures. And so that was super fun. The kids really enjoyed that. And so did I. And for our girls, they loved getting to see some of the movie magic. For example, one of the biggest hits was the flying broom experience. They sat on top of the brooms and the green screen placed them all over London. They got to watch themselves fly, and we did get those recordings even though it was an extra cost and we probably could have done them at home. It was just too much of an experience for the girls to miss out on taking them home with us. Our oldest definitely would have wanted to do that over and over again. Now, about halfway through, we stopped at the Backlot Cafe, and this was a good natural midpoint. It's busy, lines can be pretty long, but the food is filling. We got some burgers, hot dogs, fries, and they do have a lot of themed food here as well, especially butterbeer. But since we have similar foods at Universal Orlando, we chose not to get the butterbeer this time, but it still felt fun here, and I would definitely suggest experiencing it if you never have. And if you have kids, fueling up midway is pretty much non-negotiable. So definitely stop here if you can. Now, if you're bringing kids, here's what I would recommend. Have them read or watch at least the first movie beforehand. Let them wear the robes if they want. It increases that immersion, and they loved it. My kids would wear it most of the time. Occasionally, the little one would take it off. But we also brought a lot of snacks. We made a checklist of a few things that they wanted to find from the movies. We let them choose the first thing in each room. So we would follow them from one thing to another, and they would get to choose the order. We would just make sure that we got to all of the things. We gave them their own headsets so they can listen and press play in each location. We planned for wiggles, and we ran across the Wickery Bridge over and over again. And I would definitely not overschedule afterwards. This is a full day. It is definitely stroller friendly, and there's baby changing facilities and family restrooms available, which is definitely helpful for younger families. We didn't bring a stroller this time, but we saw other families that did. Now, we always buy a postcard, a magnet, and an ornament from every place we visit, but the studio tour merchandise leaned heavily towards general Harry Potter items, similar to what we can get near home at Universal. So we were a little bit disappointed with that, and we didn't get as many things as we planned. And also, since we're planning a big 11th birthday for our girls, where they're going to get their robes and their wands and go to Universal and do all of the things there, we decided to hold off on most of the other signature items that most people were getting. Instead, they got some every flavor beans and Ravenclaw themed ice cream. And honestly, it was perfect. Now, was it worth it? Absolutely. Even at 3 years old, even at 6. Now, would they appreciate it more at 11? Maybe. But seeing it through their eyes now with pure excitement was priceless. And they asked to watch the movie over and over and over again for the rest of our trip. So that's basically the theme of this entire Europe trip. You don't have to wait for the perfect age. You can go now. You just adjust your expectations and create the memories while you can. You can always go back. Now, if you're planning a UK trip and you want to include the Harry Potter filming locations, not just the studio tour, but Christchurch, King's Cross, and more, I've created a Harry Potter filming locations guide inside our free resource library. You can grab that below. And if you're curious about how we booked almost our entire Europe trip using points and miles, I also have a beginner guide linked there as well. If you want help planning your own family adventure, I'd love to help. Send me an email or fill out a guest interest form, and make sure you're subscribed, because next we're going on our first historical site walking tour in London. And then we're on to more castles, palaces, and eventually to Spain and the French Riviera. Now tell me in the comments, what age would you take your kids on the studio tour? Would you go now, or would you prefer to wait? We're just getting started. Adventure is more than possible, even with the little kids, and we're here to show you how to travel more together. See you soon, pal.
I got to be in the movie.